Hi guys, hello and welcome back, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about gaskets, seals, and what are they called? Pressure seals as well. There we go. So basically put for those of you that already know, if you already know what a gasket is or what it does, then of course this video is not for you. This is intended for someone like me that did not know anything before starting to work on your engine. So now you have your engine apart, you've worked on your engine, you've cleaned it all up, you're ready to go, you've oiled it, you'd like to reassemble it. But there is one very important part which is going to save you all of the hard work being redone again, and that is a gasket. A gasket, ladies and gentlemen, is this very simple little rubber, often asbestos, sometimes silicon seal. It is something that sits in between two metal parts. For example, this engine cover here and this engine cover here. Of course, for this video I'm just going to be showing you an empty engine cover. Where these two engine covers join, it is metal to metal, and as much as engineers would like to think that they can get a part to fit flush and perfectly under pressure, unfortunately even the smallest hole or groove on these little bits of metal is going to cause a leak, of course. So inside of the engine, and as you see over here, your internal engine parts that turn over, they are under a tremendous amount of pressure and stress. And what that causes, of course, like I said, any leak that might be between one of these two casings to leak out oil. Should you leak out oil, you lose lubrication, and your engine is destroyed. So the engine gaskets are probably one of the most important parts in replacing when you work on your engine. Why do you need to replace them? Quite simply put, once they get put under stress and pressure, this is what happens to them. You can see this is part of an engine gasket. This engine gasket goes on right over here, and it's supposed to be one fully solid continuous piece that goes on all the way around this part of the motor over here. As you can see, I'm missing this part over here. So in my instance, highly recommendable to get a brand new gasket to replace this one. In other instances, some people say you can repair gaskets, you can use a gasket seal. What that does is over here, simply it'll have a foam or a silicon sealant that'll just seal that up. In my opinion, I always believe the gaskets are not that expensive for the amount of time that you spend. Thus, you should just get a new gasket set. Wherever possible, you can replace these. However, there is a special option. Should you have an engine where you're not able to get these gaskets or gasket sets, or whichever gasket that you need is too expensive, you can go down to your local auto store and buy something called gasket paper, which is very simply put a thin membrane like this made of a similar material, but it comes out in sheets of paper. Then all you do is you simply place it over the engine where you require the gasket. You then go ahead and tap or lightly hammer around all of the edges, and that will actually cause that gasket paper to break off in the parts that you need, essentially creating your own gasket. And once again, the importance of the gasket is, now that you've done all of this work and you reassemble your engine, what will then happen is it will seal your engine's oil as well as other pressures. I mean, sometimes you're going to be using a transmission seal, you're going to have a head cylinder seal, you're going to have a combustion seal. So each one of these pressurized cylinders is going to help you with maintaining performance as well as the maintenance of your actual vehicle with parts not coming out. So guys, that is a gasket. Inside you'll also see another seal. Unfortunately I cannot find one right now. It's called the pressure seal, and these often sit in little bolts and that sort of thing like that, that are on the internal parts of the engine, similar to what the gasket does. However, all it prevents is flow of, say for instance in this case, where it's an engine, would be oil. With my oil filter sitting here, of course oil and liquid is going to follow the simplest path. So if you have a pressure seal on this bolt, say for instance, if that pressure seal breaks, my oil pump might pump oil just over here through this recess and back up and suck it up again. And what will then happen is the rest of the engine will not get proper circulation, and as such will not get proper lubrication, and once again you'll start to get engine problems. This little pressure seal over here, imagine we had one right over here, and this is in the middle of the engine. With my oil pump being right over here, this being pumped and this being sealed forces the engine up and over all of these parts right over here, and then thus coming back down through the entire engine before reaching the oil pump again, making the oil pump efficient as well as effective in circulating the oil, which is essentially there to lubricate your engine. So guys, that is the importance of a gasket, and why I'd highly recommend that you always replace your gaskets if you're not able to get them off completely. If you are able to get these gaskets off completely, they're all in one piece, they're not broken anywhere at all, or if you feel that possibly you could repair your brake, like a small brake like this over here, if you feel comfortable with that, you can go ahead. In my opinion though, I believe that the small cost of replacing the gasket is much better than the large cost of working on the engine again and essentially coming back to square one and doing all of the work that you have just done all over again. Alright guys, thank you very much. Like, share, comment. Hope you guys have a lovely day. If there's anything else that you'd like to see, or if you have any questions, please do post below. Lots more videos in my page, so go ahead and watch those too, and have a lovely day. Cheers guys, bye.